Hi, I'm Janet Horton. I'm a retired military chaplain. I'm on a team of 10 people from our church in Florida that go to a correctional institution near us. And we had a wonderful experience. A man who had come and was part of a discussion of one of Mrs. Eddy's hymns wept when we talked about when it meant to have a healing of the heart. And he was looking at heart surgery, but we talked about having a metaphoric healing of the heart, and several of the other inmates even wept as he did when we talked about what that would mean, and to be healed of anger or resentment or things that might be in someone's heart. There was a time that we didn't see the young man in our services for about 30 days, and we found he'd been put on lockup over an incident. When he returned, he was put on a mowing detail, and on a large mower he ran over some shards from a fence that had been taken down, and they shot up where other inmates were playing basketball. And he was so concerned about them, and he hollered up, "Are you guys okay?" And they didn't have any harm whatsoever, but they told him, "You don't even realize there's a shard that's gone in your foot and blood is spurting out of it." So they carried him to the doctor at the institutional facility. He took his Bible, he took his Science and Health and Prose Works with him in the lockup. And when he came out, one of his comments when he came back to our service was that he'd almost do something wrong to get put in lockup if he could have 8 hours a day to read Mrs. Eddy's writings in the Bible. It had such an impact on him. When the other inmates took him to the doctor because the shard from the fence that shot out of the mower had gone in his foot, it was so deeply lodged against and scraped across the bone that the doctor said he couldn't take it out without medication. And he said, "No, I'm a Christian Scientist now." And he said, I want you to take it out. And the doc said, "I couldn't do it. You have no idea the amount of excruciating pain this will cause." And he said no, and he reached down and he pulled it out himself and handed it to the doc, and the doc was shocked that he could have done that without any pain whatsoever. About 2 or 3 days later, it was time for us to have another service, and he came back and he told us what had happened, and he showed us that there had been so much healing because he had begun to pray from the minute he ran over the shards, that all he had left was a small pink dot on his foot, and he only had a slight limp where they had told him it would be weeks and weeks for this to heal. And he was so excited that he was able to pray and take that shard out. He was really excited more, though. He said that he thought the most incredible healing he had was that for the first time in his life, expletives didn't come out of his mouth, and he was very excited that he felt he was having the metaphoric healing of the heart, and that the anger and the fear and the resentment that he'd been feeling were gone. It was probably another week, and he came back and gave a second testimony. At the second meeting, he was explaining to us that when he went back to have the bandage changed, because the doc had told him that the harm to his foot was so incredible that the bandage was having to be changed every day, but he realized that by the second or third day back, it was completely healed. And he said, well, he was ready to have the heart valve surgery that he had actually been going to the doctor about. And he really wanted to find Christian Science and talk to us about it, because to do that heart surgery he had to be on a medicine for 2 years, and he said the medicine was just horrid, and he really would do anything to be off that medicine. When he went back in, the doc says, well, we have to update your EKG and your heart things and everything, because they were going to perform the surgery. It was now time. And he said he went in and he did the updating, and then when he came back to read him with the inmate, he said, I don't know how to tell you this, but you don't need the heart valve surgery. So another week he comes back and he explains that now he hasn't had to have the heart valve surgery. But what was so stunning was that he still remarked that he felt the most significant healing he had was that he felt he had had that metaphoric healing of the heart, and that to him was more important than not having heart valve surgery.